Mr. President, you have mentioned that the U.S. is your traditional ally. At the same time, as we can see, your country has drastically reshaped its foreign policy. It used to be unilaterally oriented towards the U.S., and right now your foreign policy is multilateral, multi-vector, and Russia holds an important place in that regard. You've also managed to improve and reinforce your relations with China. How did you do that?
In the first place, we have been a colony of Spain then with the United States. Altogether, Spain had about 300 years and 50 years under the yoke of imperialism by the United States. It's all water under the bridge. And we have been prepared to do the governance that we decide. Over the years, I have seen that the foreign policy of the Philippines always tailored that of the United States. And we can hardly go to some, at that time, communist countries just to explore trade and commerce. It was looked upon by the American government as not a pleasant one, not a new development that would make them happy. And during my time, I was at a loss where to go. I did have contacts. I was not really expected to win the presidency. As a matter of fact, during the last week of the elections, I was in the number 4. But the week before the elections, my rating shot up to 32, and so I won by a landslide. Now I wanted something more than just what a new country can give us. And even in the purchase of arms and the things that they have given us, some were good, some were bad. And products, air assets that were given to us were refurbished from NATO, then given to us. And a week after, 3 of those we bought from them crashed, killing all my pilots and crew, 6 helicopters. And that was the time that I was also criticized heavily by the human rights of the United States Congress. And then, to my surprise, even the Human Rights Commission. You know, during the time of 2 presidents ago, we were told by the United States itself that if we do not take care, if we do not watch out, our country will be swallowed by drugs. And it came to pass with about 2 presidents. And we saw mayors, city mayors, and the chairman of the most basic unit of government, 50,000 into drugs. And when I took over, I found out that 9 generals were involved in the trafficking of drugs. I said, I'm not only fighting corruption from the inside government. I was fighting corruption and the trafficking of drugs even in my government. And that is why I had to do something very fast. And now people say that my pronouncements actually encourage everybody to kill the drug lords and drug addicts. You know, frankly, I would be happy to if that things happen. And I enunciated the rule when I became president. And that was also the same rule when I was mayor for 21 years in a city. And I said that I'm going to build a comfortable city, a safe city, a city where you can walk. And I asked the police, ask your wife and children to walk the streets at night. If they come home unmolested, unbridled by worries, not victims of mugging and crimes, because there were so many addicts in the streets. And I said, I want that kind of environment. Then I proceeded. This I would pose to the entire community of the world. Is it wrong for a president to say rather, that do not destroy my country, especially the children, because I will kill you? And that was my order to the armed forces and to the police. And right now, even as I fly here and go back, there are about, again, 2 generals who are still playing with that. And I said, well, I told you, do not destroy my country because it is being flooded with drugs. With so many families created and become dysfunctional. You only have to have one addict in the family and the entire family collapses, becomes a socially disorganized unit. And I had to act fast. And the human rights are accusing me of murdering 70, now it's 20, now it's 7. So let me explain. These human rights guys are very eager to see a dead carcass of a criminal, a drug lord, a city mayor. And they would question me, why was he killed? Despite of the evidence of drugs all over the house. And one house of a certain mayor that was killed had paper walls stick with 500 pesos. It was made as a wall of the house inside. And so I said, well, I warned you, do not do it, because I will kill you. But I also ordered the military and the police, go out and dismantle the organized crime of drug trafficking. And if you find your life in danger, I will order you to shoot them. Rather see a policeman or a soldier dead. In Marawi Rebellion, it started with a drug case. And so it was rebellion because almost everybody of that place, which was really the laboratory of the entire Philippines, where drug was produced and people had money. You can see no business there except the stores. And yet, there was one in another city that 100 cars, 2 Lamborghinis, and so many Porsches. And yet, the human rights would still insist on a wrong committed way. So I told them, I'm sorry. But if there is something, I told you dismantle. And if, in the process, you kill. And I said to the world, and to the United Nations, and to everybody, I take responsibility for all of the consequences of this drug war. I and I alone. If somebody has to be hanged, I will be happy. I will even put the noose on my neck and say, go ahead. Or if you want to shoot me in a firing squad, fine. Our national hero died before a firing squad. That could be an honor for me.